You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dini Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Good morning and welcome to another awesome episode of Vigilantes Radio. I'm your host, dini-mussolini. And we have a very special guest for this episode, so you should definitely stick around for that. Okay, so what do you guys know about the energy of frustration? You know, some of the greatest achievements come from the biggest frustrations. In frustration, there is an enormous amount of energy. Too often that energy is directed and focused in negative ways, but it certainly does not have to be. Some people use frustration as an excuse to destroy. While that may be completely understandable, it doesn't do anything to improve the situation. The gratification of any revenge is quickly replaced by an even bigger and more desperate frustration. The best response to frustration is positive action. Sure, you have every right to be angry, but so what? The real challenge is to make a positive difference. The energy of frustration is a powerful resource which can propel you to new heights. So don't waste trying to bring someone else down to your level. There is an abundant energy in your frustration. It is yours to use for whatever purpose you desire. You've paid dearly for that frustration. So funnel it into a positive direction and make the very most of it. Take that from me, dini-mussolini. That is my word, and word is bond.
You're live in the mix. Let's get this started.
Yo, hello and welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Music, or Inside the Book, Inside the Business, where we dive into the minds of the people who create marvelous things. It feels so good to be back with you guys once again. So one time for my people who are indigos, crystalline or starseeds, or for my Vigilantes audience family, and 2 times for my people who are vegetarian or vegans. If you're like me, we are averaging over 37,000 live listeners, and we've been at this for 4 solid years. I appreciate all you guys who've been rocking with the kid on this journey, and we are still evolving, baby. It is all because of you, most definitely. We are the people who have dedicated their lives to music, spirituality, business, literature, art, movies, and research in every aspect, and we want to allow you an opportunity to tell your story. Man, we've had celebrities on our show, from Grammy Award winning artists to nominees to actors, comedians, CEOs, technology geniuses, visual artists, from authors to professors and aliens. Or people think they're aliens. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. Come on our show and talk to me. So check it out. To book an interview or just to share a real cool story, email me at vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. And that's V as in Victor. I'm passionate about what I do, just as passionate about what you do, and together, yes, together, we can get your voice heard by the people who should hear it. So let's create something incredible. You know the number to dial, 701-801-9813. Text that number to your buddy right now and tell them to tune in to connect with us or our guests, or you can hop in the mix directly from our website, onlyonemediagroup.com. Right from the homepage, you can slap that go live button and you'll be right here live in the mix and in the chat room with all of us. Feel free to shoot over some questions to ask our guests while they are here, but only as time permits. Sometimes my guests and I talk entirely too much and we take up the entire hour. And as always, all episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from either Spreaker.com/onlyonemediagroup, iTunes, YouTube, or any app from the Google Play or iTunes Store, or over at our website. And that goes for every single episode that we ever aired.
All right, again, welcome to the show. Today's interview is the CorruptShun Interview. And again, I'm your host, dini-mussolini. So our interviews go beyond the music, the blogs, the books, the businesses, the movies, and into the minds of the people who create these marvelous aspirations. From researching our guests, relentlessly mining for details, and listening, reading, watching everything we can, our interviews are designed to bring out the best answers possible. We are like TMZ, digging out the secrets and catching you in odd moments. Not really, but we do provide provoking questions that have real substance. So maybe we aren't like TMZ, but no shade involved. We just want to exist amongst other giants, right? A sincere warm welcome to Brander. He is a card game designer, and I think he's Batman at night. So yeah, there's that. The guy's incredible. So he's our guest today, and we'll have all kind of insights into what he's doing with this game called CorruptShun. Dun dun dun. Lane? Okay. We'll edit that. Anyway, so let's go ahead and invite him onto the show. Brander, man, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, most definitely, man. So, how is it in Dallas, Texas, man? How is it?
It is cold, and then it gets its heat, sunny days and bright blue skies. So, we get a mix of it.
Yeah. About the same here. I'm over in Mississippi, man. And one day I have a rain jacket on. The next day, some actually coat. And the next day, shorts. So it's kind of a mixture of all three.
Yeah, you got to be ready for, different points of the day.
Yeah, man. So first of all, man, I just want to say a huge thank you, man, for taking the time to sit down with me and to tell you personally what an extreme privilege it is to have you take that time out for us. It's real big of you, man. The man that wears many hats and have a job like no other. So I guess that's where we should start, man, because this is like walking up to you in a bakery shop. A bakery shop? Why would it be a bakery? I mean, where do you like to shop? Where do you like to shop at?
Where I like to shop at? It's an online world, so basically everything's there, at least for you, for your window shopping. And then, if it's located, available in stores, and yes, go pick it up and, get outside the house, right?
Yeah.
But, other than that, just in new things, new products, and, like this one, just innovative stuff that could, make a difference in your life or leave you kind of intrigued for more.
Most definitely. Yeah, so let's just say I just happened to stumble upon you, man, in one of these shops. And I say, hey, man, where are you from, Brander? What's the genesis of Brander? Where are you from? How did you grow up? Give us your life story.
All right, well, Brander definitely is an alias there. It's a mix of my two middle names, and kind of serves as a good art signature, and then actually brand name, Brander. So, yeah, it works very well for me, and that's how I adopted that, many years ago. But what was your other question?
Oh, just finding out who you are as a person.
Yeah, well,
all the highs and lows of life.
An entrepreneur by heart, like many, inspire and try to be. It just takes work, and you commit to building something based on passion, based on interest, and if you don't have that, obviously it's not. Then you're not doing the true calling of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not money first. It is, passion first, and and then the need. So you got to have a realistic view of what is in need, and again, with this latest game is definitely one of them with our political times and climate. And so I hope to get on that and tell you more about it soon.
Yes, sir, and that's where we're going to dive into now. So, how did you get involved with making card games?
All right. Well, believe it or not, this is this has never been done here. As an entrepreneur, you do take on new roles, new hats. Whether you've done it or not. Again, it's answering the call of need. Of demand, of necessity, of inspiration. And so you have to quickly learn how to play those roles. And many job descriptions that if you already had the team developed, assembled, you would obviously hand that off, and then, but I will say being resourceful is number one. With going after something new, So, but I will step back and say that with a company that I have also developed and been working with for the past 3.5, almost 4 years, we've been in the printing business after all, anyway. So this just gave us an extension of our capabilities to do something more. Aside from printing, marketing, flyers, and also special greeting cards, posters. I already said the posters. So there's all kinds of needs for the printing that we do. So that just became one of them. Definitely adopted the idea that we can go ahead and put this out at a much more affordable cost than what some of these big companies out there take all to themselves. And so at a fraction of the cost, we just taking the steps to get the quality right, the prints and the designs, and went after it trial after trial, and to perfection. But yeah.
Okay. Most definitely.
It was an adopted idea, incorporated with our already existing operation.
Yeah. So this particular genre, though, is the first I've ever heard politics in a card game. I've seen fantasy, TV shows, movies, even the romantic type of games, and I believe there's an explosion too, because a shop just popped up in my neighborhood that supports boards and card games, and I would think that it would be empty, but it's always full. And Comic-Con came to my city 3 years, so now it's on its 3rd year of making this a annual thing. So there is an explosion of card games, board games, and things of that nature. Are you seeing the same excitement in the card and board game world right now?
There is there's always an industry for this, and not just specifically, cards or just board games, or even app games, which this potentially has, is going for. But the thing with something physical like that, you got to admit, brings together people.
Yeah.
It definitely cuts through the society's what do you want to call it, the division, I guess. Solidarity. So it becomes it then becomes a talking topic, and even so with this, a debate. And it gets people talking, it gets people involved, interacted, and that leads to bigger things than just you yourself, your thumbs, and your Twitter account. You know what I mean? So it definitely gets people a little more active and talking and collaborate.
Yeah. So why do you believe that corruption is the ideal strategy game?
Not going to hit so hard on the caption of strategy, but what it is definitely controversial, and nothing is more like popular than risky things. Nothing's more like attractive, or like the attraction's stronger when it's like, okay, now you just talked about now that's real, and this game relates to obviously real-time politics. And the other thing is, not to go so much off track, because I don't know, if I might be covering some other questions you might ask, but where was I going with that? It's so it gets people going, and it's really what's going on, and I will say that politics, not everyone's cup of tea, we'll say, but it really affects, and it's and impacts how we live, and our freedoms, and what's right, and our morals, and all the beliefs, and just all the goodwill of what human and citizens are supposed to be like. So for this to get ripped away from our say is catastrophic, because it's that cancerous, I don't want to call it dictatorship, but power that does things and lets you just suck it up.
Yeah.
And without truly understanding any of it, and then it becoming kind of a lack of hope or something. We need new direction to grab people's attention to the real issues.
That's right. And
as I'm no politician with a campaigning speech to give, I can just think about the ones that do this, and and feel their beliefs, and understand where they're coming from, and understand that more people need to get involved. And this is definitely a channel for them. And in a fun way, it gets them not so much thinking about, the play and, the winning and, is this like Monopoly or anything like that. And it's actually a mix of things. I mean, it's cards for one. And if you think an example of a game that this is, that a portion of this is played, is most familiar with, is the Cards Against Humanity. You've played that one, I'm sure. Many people have. That's, that gets people engaged. And they read out loud, the cards, and, and it's either funny or it's like, disgusting or something. And this one does the same. It gets people to see what policies and what different roles of the government, whether they're a Congress worker or whether they're a politician pushing for policies to make law, or basically being corrupted by corporate PACs and and big interests. How do they get in there? How can I influence you to make a switch on that, or if I adopt and fund your policy, can you also do this for me? How do these things change and become not what we've presented? So that's where this is going. It gives people that opportunity to do some negotiating, and let's say even quid pro quo, and and you get to see and play all this backdoor action, and it's not even so much your just one role. You actually end up playing parts of that role throughout the game. So, and I will say there's actually two ways to play this. One as a politician, but that is broken down into 3 parts. And depending how long you want your game to go, they typically each take about 30 minutes each. So, so that you get to one level, and then then you end that part, and and anybody can say, okay, well, won this one, but then you go on to, okay, well, the next step to this is is this, and then the other part of the game is played as corporate PACs and special interests, lobbyists. So and so this just, I see, to become something that might open people's eyes, not just be a fun card game and and get to interact and but also debate on real policies, real laws of past, and real ones that got washed away, so yeah, from 2016 to now, late 2019, it was really researched everything that had gone, and so I might be covering another one of your questions right there. But yeah, it definitely took a lot of work to research and construct.
Yeah, man, you answered like 20 of my questions already, but no, it's great.
Oh, okay.
I do want to ask you though, is there a Trump card, like a Donald Trump card, and you just completely win everything? You know what? That Trump card, I hate to even bring up the name. It's but I will say that first off, to answer that question, no, there's not any mention of that at all anywhere. So we're not giving that much credit. There's not, but at the very same time, to be all fair, we don't mention anyone's name. But the real
world's issues are almost verbatim, some tailored to fit a little bit more reader legibility, whatever interest. Yeah. But you go to research that this policy or that or this issue, they all actually happen. Yeah, they all actually happen. So
real life events are in the game, but not actual real life people.
Yeah. No, we don't go and give credit or try to So this okay. So to answer your Trump card question, no, he does not have a place in our game. Although I'm sure he's got a place in corruption. Spelled TION. And so he doesn't have a card of his own there. I don't know where that came from. He just but it kind of treaded, or what is it? It's been threading. As like as a quote or hashtag or something. Trump card. I don't know where that came from. Although he's a player. He's a player though. Yeah. So yeah, but he does have his own player card as the president. So the president itself. Okay, so I'll reveal a little bit to the listeners right now with what's in in this card game. So it's broken down in parts of government, and so you've got your 3 parts. That I'm not going to bore everybody with the breakdown. Your legislation, your judicial, your executive, but the seeing how much headbutting is going on with the 2 parts of Congress, the House and the Senate. They've got their own cards, and so it's not just a one, as we should be, right? And then the executive branch, which also should be it's broken down where this is the executive and they do certain duties, but then the president, which should be working with I don't know, has his own, and then judicial's got their own, and those government cards are played where they have the power to basically so now instead of 3 you've got 5, right? They've got the power to turn over things and adopt and become bring policies into they become bills after purchase and into laws. It may sound boring now, or I hate to shoot that off. It may sound a little confusing now, is what I mean to say. Mm-hmm. But it's literally an adoption of strategies or methods of all kinds of games you used to play. So, as I mentioned, a part of this can be played, and it is like Cards Against Humanity or any other trivial game, where you spin off a question or something comes up, and then you have to act on that, and it brings everybody else in, and then it's other parts are like regular poker, this beats that, and then a portion of it is throughout of it it's all color coded, and with covering four policies, four topics, like environment, healthcare, gun control, and immigration. So with those, there's also 4 government agencies, and the government agencies for those are going to be immigration, customs, ICE, and then it's going to be for national security, gun control, and then you got your other 2. So in environment agency, so those agencies fight to push, or they push these policies to try to make good, and of issues that they're having, right?
Right.
But then you got the lobbyists and the corporate PACs and special interests, whatever, and they go in there and then try to slide in and get their piece of the pie and try to get some power and play. And so good agenda has to fight with bad values, and so the ones that, so the special interests, or are going to come from, like, the ones that attack the environment and energy is going to be big oil, and that's one. And then the gun control, who fights to have power there, NRA. And then customs and immigration. Let me see that one. And I'm doing this all by memory, believe me. There's a lot involved in this. Yeah, I have to look in there. That one is going to be... Yeah, sorry, I'm like flipping through all the... But, I should have all this stuff ready for you, too.
Oh, you're good, man.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So, Department of Homeland Security, they have customs and immigration. And they've got to fight their own special interests. But anyways, each one of these agencies has their own set of cash. Okay, so, and the cash actually reads on the backs as "follow the money." Okay, so as you're holding a set of cards like you would in poker, the other players are not seeing what you're having, but from your side, they're color oriented, and that you've got influence money for big oil, or you got influence, or to not big oil, but to influence the Agency of Environment and Energy, or I've got money to influence Agency of Tobacco, Alcohol, and Firearms,
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting because this allows you to see, who you get to influence, and it keeps record of that during your play. And, so you get to end up finding out who, what parts of the government you have power over more than the others, and you win by that way. And then there's other ways that also brings you points to win.
Nice.
So
are alliances allowed?
That becomes where you start playing with in groups. I mean, and either you play in so it's played up to 4 players or 4 teams. Okay.
Four
and
players, 4 teams. Got it.
Yeah. It could be played as 2 teams, so therefore two sets. But that's where each sale of this is going to be a series of games, and because this thing has been told to me by the people I've been working with that have caught the reality of this to be a serious series of games, never ending, for the fact that every game comes with 4 topics.
Mm-hmm.
And believe me, 4 is enough. 4 already brings you to like just a little over 268 cards. And so let's see, to give you a little bit of a comparison, Cards Against Humanity, I believe, is like reached almost 3, so it's like 298. So that's a pretty tall stack,
Mm-hmm.
And and this one's got enough to go through, enough to read, enough to, I don't want to make it too confusing, but most of it's cash, and so of different different policies, and but the alliances, they either come where you're working together as like a committee, and then policies come out, and and people have to debate on which policies they favor, what makes more sense. So it actually really becomes a political debate at that point. You actually become, play the role of a politician, and and then and also a lobbyist, because then you look at what lobbyist cards you have, and then you're able to say, okay, well, if I'm doing this for that team, or can they do this for me? Or it's like, so the votes have got to be there, and and if they're not, you have to slip in another way to win, and so there's multiple ways to kind of, and so it is strategizing in the way that you want to be sneaky, and cannot, so, but yeah, debate basically, committee debating over policies, and is how you become, how you can make alliances, and if you got more power over a certain agency, or issue, and somebody else wants a part of that or whatever, and so they can kind of grow some points in that area, that field, then so they make a swap, they make and it's with the rules written, which I will release this too. A very unique packaging this thing has, I will say. This doesn't come in a standard box, boring box. We think outside the box. Mm-hmm. We have a document tube, okay, with caps at the end. And reason for that is, hang on a second. Phone call coming in. Reason for that is because, first off, we have a map, and it's the map is basically the board game portion of this. You just lay it out. It shows kind of where everything is kind of laid out, set up or whatever. You don't have to use that, but it makes it much more organized, and it gives you it gives us something to look at.
Right on.
But and also so it rolls up pretty nice in the tube. And then the other thing is the rules are actually printed on parchment paper, which in the font also, both things to resemble the Constitution.
Oh wow!
So your rules is actually on the U.S. Constitution. Yeah. And it's pretty cool. So it's rolled up in a scroll. It's put in the tube. You got it right there. It's it's easy to read if you can read hieroglyphics. No, it's just got the old font, but it's still legible. Unlike really trying to read the real thing. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, it's all kinds of unique. It comes with a poster as well that from a political artist. Online, which I connected with, and I said, "Hey, man, can we use these prints?" And we kind of made an agreement there, and because we're on the same team here, and I want to step back with coming back to clarifying that this game is set up as best as possible to not point fingers and say, okay, this team's wrong, this team's right. So, because we know the true nature. We know that, the whole reason for bringing this up is for what it is. People have done bad things and made things wrong on the writer side, let's say that. But it doesn't point out and say this and that. It's constructed to be thought as neutral. So So we can tap into, the GOP side of, people, and they can, not feel like they are, not welcomed. Like, and that's always just that's always blown my mind how, like, how the Democrats have been open arms, and yet the other side is kind of like hateful, and here it's like, man, it's like, hey, we want you through, yeah. So I don't know, man. This thing does not become something to, it doesn't shun out, the person out. It doesn't want to shame them. It doesn't want to, single them out. It doesn't want to, say that you're wrong, because everybody's going to be wrong in this game. It's going to give you the opportunity to play something dirty, and you actually get points for that too.
Oh, wow.
So well, yeah, so you can play. Okay, I'll read the package to you. I think it says, politicians, lobbyists, corporate PACs, foreign interests, and more. Learn the loopholes, pick apart the system, selling out and buying for special interests, and corrupt gain or fight for freedom to uphold the Constitution and the oath. It lets you do both. It's what what you feel you want to push. What you can go the right way, or the honest way about getting ahead, or you can cheat. So this game allows you to cheat and allows you to do it. There's just so many there's just so many strategies to it. So it's we're gonna I will definitely look into making a YouTube video for it as well.
Cool. Yeah.
So because I understand that video is still where it's at, and I know this podcast is not going to necessarily get everybody's understanding of it, but definitely get a video of it. We've got our copyrights and trademark patents for what we have, so literally doing a little bit of more of an exposure of what's in the set is going to be beneficial. And
Brender,
so
you did say something interesting there. So how much can someone learn from playing CorruptShun who isn't typically into politics? As you mentioned,
that's exactly my point for this. So the real reason for making it is not because we're trying to, it's for the people that this is literally number one at for in constructed reasons for trying to get people that are not that awake. That's it. This is truly what it is. For all those, and I'm not trying to down my crowd by, because I'm not trying to lose sales here by saying, we're trying to grab dumb people or anything. No, this is trying to say, this is just trying to say that, hey, anything you've played before that you've liked, whether it be a cards game or a board game, or Cards Against Humanity, Uno, whatever you've played before, you've got a new real, but yet familiar game here, and so it's and its contents are more real than any one of those games that you've played, and more impacting anyways. But it's gonna come off as a game. That'll be my number one, to try to keep focus that hey, this is a game, so therefore, but at the same time, I want people to hold on to that that potential that it's impacting, that this thing, if people get to love something and then they get to understanding it, sometimes love works the other way, right? You have to understand. You have to have understanding before you. And anyways, or then they'll be educated, and they'll get to. So it'll make its way. It'll creep through the cracks of people's heads, and they'll get to understanding what it is. And so definitely some YouTube videos got to come out, but the instructions are all there. The pieces are all there. The possibilities and scenarios are like exciting, and so we just want to get the word out. I'm telling you, ultimately I don't know. I guess the benefit of humanity would be great to see that this actually changes, and makes an impact, gets people talking. It's a new channel for them to dig into politics a little bit more, and if they haven't become understanding of what was before. I don't know. Yeah, sorry, man. I think you got the agenda of it, right? I just go on talking because I think that you need to clear up some airspace. But ultimately, I just go on. But the gist of it is pretty clear. It's something that just can awake people, and it's done in a fun way. Something that actually brings people together, and and gets them engaged. So I think that if this caught wind with any of the current politicians now, they would definitely be a good spokesperson, much better than me.
Yeah.
So,
man, so how was it like to design CorruptShun? Did you have any help on the playability of the card deck?
How was it to design? It was tough. You would think that anyone could make something but not in politics. Are you kidding? Not. This is a very hard topic to try to understand and try to form into any kind of game. This is unless you were literally just a trivial question where there's no debate. You just got to know the answer to that question. Yeah, you could do that, but then that would be boring.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This is ultimately engaging. That's what the real winner is. With this. It's how to engage, and then yes, it was and to get all those balances right of okay, well, you have this many of this, and do you need the same amount here? What about does one portion overwhelm the other? And it's not really just a numbers matter. It's a scenario and matter. It's so it had to been played at least, I don't know, at least like 23 times. I had to play before, of retweaking, changing, tailoring, changing the value or denominations on, some cards or what. Yeah, no, because I say scenarios, but I'm at a lack of words for the chances, the fractional chances on, something ending up, correctly, not like falling into a dead end. You know what I mean? It takes, so several times to get that. And it was pretty damn difficult to, to think of all these scenarios. to play them all out. And the research behind the material involved in this took at least a month. No joke. Reading through all kinds of all kinds of okay, I'll give you one. Okay, least we forgot the horrors, a catalog of Trump's worst cruelties, collusions, corruption, and crimes. That has been a Bible for me to begin my research. So McSweeney's online, you can look it up. I definitely give them credit. They've written down in a very nice catalog of sexual misconducts, harassment, white supremacy, the public tweets that he did, the collusion, the obstruction, what went on in the with the staff and administration, business dealings, and what corrupt change happened with policy, the environment, and the other issues that we have.
Right.
So that thing ends up being, I don't know, like almost 2 inches thick if you were printed out on one single side. That's what I did. And I don't know, it's got, so that's just one resource. And then I had to go through all of the the politicians, the senators, the people, presidential campaigns. I had to go through Elizabeth Warren's and Bernie Sanders and everybody else's policies and see, okay, what are they saying? And so that all became part of the research and stuff too.
Wow. So you have crowdfunding for corruption. How have sites like Kickstarter and crowdfunding help independent game makers find an audience to back their projects?
Now it sounds like two parts of the question, or two questions, or two parts. Now I have not got too much into. I've stepped back from crowdfunding from Kickstarter. I don't want to. It's not like this is going to get out there so much that I gave a thumbs down on that, because they have let go of some really good things, and and then later on just stolen that idea or whatever, and people could go on there because they don't have protection. Well, actually, I'm not sure. I mean, I can't say that that's why they go on there, but they definitely need the funding. But part of funding is that you pay through with your roots of producing anything. You need you have to protect the trademark. You have to put in the copyrights and for all the copies of things that you have. So that's been my priority one before going on about anything further. While going with them, even with that, it just I don't know. We're doing our own crowdfunding, and the reason is because 20% of this product's contributions will go to the Democratic campaigns, and also other reliefs, other humanitarian reliefs. So, and so this is contributing enough, and I believe that its purpose for being a channel, a way for us to basically donate by actually buying something. So this gives back to society a way of understanding and getting into politics, in a different channel, which is other than just watching debates on TV or something. This gets people talking. So So its purpose is that, hopefully it'll one day reform even society, as so I like to say, ripples make waves. That means that, you may be but just a water drop in the bucket. But when you hit that surface, do you not, ripple affect your existence? So anyway, so it hopefully will be a domino effect of an impact. But it also is a channel for nonprofit organizations, and that's what it's selling for.
Right on. All right, man. One final question before we let you go. Aside from your own game, CorruptShun, what's your favorite board game or card game of all time?
Yeah, you know what? I thought about that one. I really did. And I didn't put myself to actually give an answer to that, because I'm like, well, because I've played enough things and not sure, and I'd go with Monopoly, but it's like that's so old now, and I remember Trump trying to make his Monopoly game, in his own different group. but honestly, I think this, I know I'm going to say that, but this is at the moment, because it is like, so if my closest favorite game was Monopoly, if you talk about board games and card games, home games, if that would be the closest thing to what I can think of, I'll play chess with somebody every once in a while, but I've got Cards Against Humanity, and I don't ultimately like that. I like the strategy of it, or the interaction. That's my favorite interaction for, and then I got some other trivial games. So don't have a favorite, but I think I like a piece of it all, and therefore that is why I adopted a part of everything that, of what I like from each one of the games that I've, been brought up on. Yeah. So I think I'm going to answer that CorruptShun is my favorite game for the fact that it has all the best pieces, man.
Right. Yes, sir. All right, man. Let everyone know where they can connect with you online and purchase the game.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, hopefully, this really will alter our America's political views. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from either Spreaker.com/only1mediagroup, iTunes, YouTube, any app that's on a Google Play or iTunes store, or our website, and that goes from every single episode that we've ever aired. If you'd like to request music or a particular guest or send something for me to play, email it to theradio@only1mediagroup.com. If it's music, please label it by artist and title. Here's my disclaimer. We are genre free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay but facts alone. And actually, you can scratch all of that because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, so deal with it. Nah, just kidding. On behalf of myself, Dini-Mussolini, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word, because sharing is caring. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, as well as Spreaker. We always follow back. That is the number one rule. Okay, well, just remember to be yourself and be absolutely great at just doing that. Avoid being too comfortable because you're messing with your potential when you do that. Peace and have a good night.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. This is a Seventh Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.